Hi, everybody. As we move on to our new unit, we're going to be talking about our opinions and backing up our opinions with um, more clarifying sentences with why you feel this way. We just can't say, oh, I want this because this. You have to be able to back up your thinking. And so sometimes we'll do that with facts, and sometimes what we'll do is with your whole thinking it out process. So we'll be talking about this. So today we're going to read Finders Keepers. It's from the book called If You Had to Choose, What Would You Do? So I want you to be thinking about what you would do if you had to choose. So here's Finders Keepers. Finders Keepers. Tony and his friend Leon chained their bikes to the metal post of the bicycle rack and zipped up their matching sweatshirts. Saturday morning at the neighborhood park was the best part of the whole week. The swings were all still empty and they had the jungle gym to themselves. And they were only a couple of runners on the jogging trail. They were just warming up on the jogging path when a jogger in a bright blue warm-up suit passed them. As he jogged by with his earphones clamped to his head, he waved at the boys. Tony and Leon watched as the jogger rounded the curve ahead. That's when they saw something fall out of the pocket of his warm-up suit. So they sprinted over to investigate. There, big as life, was a $20 bill. Tony started to call out to the jogger, but Leon jabbed him hard in the ribs and told him to think again. Leon picked up the money and grinned at Tony. "This is our lucky day, and you were about to blow it. With this little piece of paper here, we can have a blast at the video arcade. Let's grab our bikes and head on over there so we're there when they open." Tony's first thought was to catch up with the jogger and return the money, but by now the man was completely out of sight. They would have to hurry if they were going to find him before he left the park. Leon told Tony to forget about the jogger. That guy probably won't even miss the money. He'll probably spend it on pizza or something and not even think anything about it. We'll get a lot more fun out of it than he ever would. Leon wadded up the bill and stuffed it into his back pocket of his jeans. As he headed back toward the bicycle rack, he yelled for Tony to hurry up. He wasn't going to wait all day. He seemed that things were pretty much out of Tony's hands. Leon had the money, and the jogger was nowhere to be seen. Leon had his mind set on spending the money with or without Tony. Tony could still try to find the jogger and still tell him about the lost money, but if Leon took off with the money, then Tony wouldn't have any money to give back to the jogger, and by the time he found the man, Leon would have already be living it up at the video arcade. Tony kicked an empty pop can off the jogging path and headed back to the bicycle rack to find Leon. What if he insisted that the two of them track down the jogger and return the money? That was what he really wanted to do, but Tony knew that Leon already had his mind made up. He was going to spend the money. Leon had the money stuffed safely away in his pocket, and he wasn't about to give it up. Not without a fight, anyway. Tony wasn't about to get into a fight with his best friend over someone else's $20. So what if Tony just refused to go with Leon to spend the money? Then Leon would have a good time, and Tony would be stuck with nothing to do for the rest of the day. Tony wanted to do the right thing, but if he couldn't convince Leon to give back the money, he didn't know what he would do. Leon could be pretty stubborn when he really wanted something. If you were Tony and you had to choose, what would you do and why? So here's some thinking questions to think about. And on your pair deck, you're going to have to answer these questions. We're only doing 2 questions a day. So make sure that you're doing complete sentences, really thinking out why you would make these decisions. And the questions are in the pair deck. We'll go over them today, but you might see these questions in them. If you were Tony and you had to choose, what would you do and why? So explain to me what you would do, how you would handle it, and really think it through. If you were the jogger, what would you want Tony and Leon to do? Really think about it. If you were that jogger, what do you think they should do? And what do you think Leon's reason for keeping the money? Do you think Tony is going to be able to convince Leon to return the money? And why doesn't Tony want to keep the money? And then finally, would it change anything if Tony and Leon had found the money just lying on the side of the path without knowing where it came from? And why would that make a difference? So right now, I really want you to put yourselves in Tony and Leon's situation, especially Tony, because he's the one that's having the conflict. Leon definitely isn't. And we'll talk about it in class, but remember, only 2 pair decks a day, 2 slides a day, just the 2 questions. Okay, don't do any more than that because we're going to be talking about them each day. And make sure you use complete sentences, think about capitalization and punctuation, and I will see you in class. Bye.